Welcome to my July monthly reset. If you're new here, my name is Chitra. I'm a business owner and a content creator. It's a few days before the end of the month, the perfect time to reset for July. This is going to be a big-ish reset for me because it is my mid-year reset. It is halfway through the year. We are 6 months done. I am definitely not halfway through my goals. I am working towards most of it and I'm hoping that I do achieve them by the end of the year, but we need a massive reboot to get things back on track. The first thing that we're going to do is go over the goals that I set for the month of June. These are my monthly goals, and these could be like something that is relevant to that month, or it could just be something that I've like a bucket list item that I want to do, or it could be something that leads into my bigger goals. So for this month, my very first goal was to read 6 books. It is officially the last day of the month, and I wanted to do my reading wrap up with you guys. I want to share with you everything that I read. The first book that I read for the month was Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher. This was a follow-on from The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. This is book number 2 in her Dreamland Billionaire series, and I honestly love this book. This was such a nice comfort read. When I read this book, I was going through a really stressful period where I was launching my mini vlog masterclass. It just really got me through those first couple of days of the month. I had a lot of housework to do as well, and it was just a nice comforting kind of read, especially since it was the second book in the series. You kind of knew some of the characters before, you knew the person doing, I listened to it as an audiobook, so you knew the world, so it just felt really familiar, and it was a really nice read. I would say I would give this about a 4.5 stars. I would recommend that you read it if you like billionaire romance novels, books. The trope in this book was a marriage of convenience, I think it was. The second book that I read for the month was Daisy Jones and the Six, and I listened to this on audiobook as well, and I highly recommend that you listen to this on audiobook because there are so many characters in this book, and it's really nice to listen to the audiobook and have all of the different characters speak, because it sounds like you're listening to an interview or a documentary or a podcast almost. I think I've had a complete different experience listening to this book versus reading it. I think it would have been a very different experience reading it. I think I would have gotten very, very bored reading this book. However, listening to it was quite entertaining. I feel like this book was really kind of low stakes for me, but just how much I really enjoyed the book, I would say it's a 3-star. The book essentially, I would definitely recommend that you give it a go if you like the premise of the book. Basically, it's a interview style book where someone is interviewing bandmates, band members of a band called Daisy Jones and the Six, and everybody kind of tells this this is their life story, this is how we started, and you kind of journey through and you find out why this band that would have been the next Beatles or something broke up. When I first started listening to it, I had to literally Google, is this a real story? Because just the way everything kind of was put together. It was very entertaining read, but just as what I thought was going to be a pud. But in terms of a listening experience as I'm listening to a podcast or something, I thought it was very, very entertaining. The next book that I read was The God of Small Things by Arundhati Roy. I would give this book a 3 or a 4 star, mainly because I don't enjoy the themes that are covered in this book. I find them really heavy and really triggering, and I had to only read a couple of pages, chapters at a time to get through this book. The book is very, very beautifully written. The writing is just amazing. The storytelling is amazing. The themes covered are important themes. It's just, again, a purely personal choice that I don't enjoy reading themes like this. I think maybe when I was younger, in my 20s, early 20s, maybe I would have really enjoyed this book and this would have really spoken to me, or I would have found it really beautiful. And again, I still do find the writing really beautiful. However, I didn't enjoy the book. I wouldn't read it again. I wouldn't also recommend it to somebody, I don't think. But that's as a personal choice, not as I didn't like the author, I didn't like the story, or I didn't like the writing was bad writing or something. I read these 3 books kind of in the first week of the month, and then I had a giant break in the middle of the month. I was traveling, I was in Asia for 2 weeks, and I thought I was going to read so much on this trip because previously when I traveled to Europe with my sister, I read 3 books on our 10-day trip. However, I wasn't really deep into any series, so I didn't have that real drive to go and pick up my Kindle and read. In March, when I was in Europe with my sister, I was reading the Blood and Ash series, I believe, yeah. The next book that I finished was Six Scorched Roses by Carissa, I want to say Broadbent, that's what I want to say. And this is part of the Crowns of Nyaxia series, and it's the novella between the serpent and the wings of the night, and I think the next book, which I'm forgetting the name of. I haven't read the second book. It's a duology, but you're supposed to read Six Scorched Roses before you move on to the second book of Serpent and the Wings of the Night. I would give this book a solid 4 stars, kind of the same tier of Serpent and the Wings of the Night. I didn't enjoy Serpent and the Wings of the Night as much as I thought I would, and I really also didn't enjoy Six Scorched Roses as much as I thought I would. It was, I think I wasn't deeply enough connected to any of the characters or the storyline, and it kind of just fell flat for me. Like, it was truly just reading like a novella where I didn't feel connected to the characters, didn't care what happened to them. There are novellas that I enjoy that, like, I feel like are a combination of the book that you're reading and you want to know more about this person, you want to see their story unfold more, and this I really didn't. Maybe when I read book 2 of Serpent and the Wings of the Night, I will like understand Six Scorched Roses a lot more and appreciate it a lot more. But it was great writing, a good read. I wouldn't say I was entertained by it. It was more like, all right, I gotta finish this book because I want to read the second book of the series. The next book that I read was Legends and Lattes, and this book I think I started back in April. I wanted to read like a cozy fantasy, something not as high stakes, because although I really do enjoy my high stakes fantasy, I guess I didn't realize how much I enjoy it until I read something that was absolutely low stakes. I thought I would really enjoy reading a cozy fantasy where I'm not getting so anxious or like about what's going to happen in the book, but I actually really didn't. It like, because it was just so low stakes, I felt like I had no reason in it to kind of read the book. I really could not care less about what was happening in the book. And I think after reading that, I realized like I really do enjoy reading like when big things are gonna happen, like how somebody does in like a, you know, like a Hunger Games type of situation, it impacts the rest of the world, or this person is gonna save the world or something like that. Yeah, as much as I thought I didn't, or that was important to me, I realized it very much was. I would give this book a 3 stars. The writing in it is beautiful. It's just that I didn't enjoy like the elements of it. I didn't really connect to any of the characters. I couldn't care less, again, what happened to this coffee shop or anything like that. However, if you want to read more like not as like fast, like fueled, or just like not something as high stakes, like the world is not gonna like erupt or something, kind of fantasy, give Legends and Lattes a go. I believe there's also a second book in the series, which I will not be reading whatsoever. The next book that I read in the month was Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. This is a part of her Throne of Glass series, and I think it was released like as book number 3 or book number 4. However, as like some people recommend reading this book first before you get into the series. Same problem that I had with this book that I had with Six Scorched Roses, that I really didn't care about the characters. I thought the book was kind of like a bore, and I'm kind of like just going through the motions. However, I have just started reading the first book, Throne of Glass, and I am kind of glad that I read Assassin's Blade first, because I'm immediately so much more invested in the main character, like just right off the bat. Usually it takes me a good while to get into a book, like halfway through, almost the end of a book, to get into the character and to like feel for the characters. However, with this one, literally from like the first page, I was like, man, I know your story. I know how you got into this position. Let's see how you're gonna get out of it. I would say that I would give Assassin's Blade a 4 star. And I love reading it now that I've done that, like reading it first, because it's just given me so much backstory about the character and I'm immediately connected with her. I don't feel like I have to wait to get through the book. The last two books that I read for the month were two nonfiction books. The first was The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, and I would give this book a 3 or everything's basically 3 or 4 star. So assume across the plane that I'm gonna give everything a 3 or 4 star, and I'll tell you something is 5 star. But this was a nice read. It basically tells you 6 habits that you need to build and create a morning routine out of to have the best morning of your life that is going to change your life and you're going to become a whole new person. Do I think that this book is revolutionary? No, because most of the things that's mentioned here is what every single self-help, development, hustle boss, guru is going to tell you. It is 6 habits are exercise, visualization, meditation, affirmations, and a couple others, but there's 6 things, okay? And I feel like also in this book there was a lot of fluff, okay? There's a lot of fluff, there's a lot of preamble that didn't need to be there. I feel like this book could have been like a quarter of the size, where it just tells you these are the 6 habits. This is a little bit of research behind each of them and why it's effective, and this is how you can implement them. This is some troubles that you might face, and this is how to troubleshoot. That's it. But there's so much here on the author's backstory, which is listen, how? I don't care. Just tell me the point. I didn't buy this book because of Hal Elrod. I bought it because of this Miracle Morning. It's going to transform my life. And I really didn't care about Hal's personal journey as much. Maybe a paragraph, and then you can go through maybe how many people that you've helped or something like that. But I didn't need the constant reference. And then also throughout the book, almost every chapter or every second page, you had oh, this is why the Miracle Morning is fantastic. Go to miraclemorning.com. And I was I already bought the book. Stop trying to sell me on something else. I bought your book. Give me the info. Personal preference about how I felt about this. Honestly, really good read. I think it's a fantastic read if you're a beginner into the self-development space, because it's really easy to read, really easy to skim and retain all the knowledge. It's not something super complicated. It doesn't read like a research paper or something. However, I didn't enjoy being sold to. I didn't enjoy all of the rambling. If I'm reading this, I have limited time as it is, make it quick. So good read, but if you're a more advanced self-development reader, I would skip. This is probably my first 5-star read of the month. It is called Who Moved My Cheese by Dr. Spencer Johnson. It's about how to deal with change in your life. And initially when I was reading this, I was this is gonna be a quick read. Just another book to add to my list. I don't think it really applies to me, but it's really, really highly recommended. Let's just breeze through it. And I cannot tell you how wrong I was about how this has impacted my life so far. 5 stars, 10 out of 10. It is a super quick read. You could read it in 30 minutes. However, this book could have been this, in my opinion. You get to the point super quickly. There's a forward or just a little prologue. You get into the beginning of the book, you get into the crux of it, the main lesson, and then you get into at the end, the lessons, how people have applied it in their life. And it's just perfect. It's the perfect amount. It's a perfect length. I gotta tell you, it's just perfect. You get that introduction that you need to warm up to the story. You learn the lessons, you see how it's applied, and you believe in it, and you're good. Also, it did it in a way where you believed in the story, of what the lesson was, without needing to be super salesy. The Morning Miracle was we helped thousands of people. We did this. This is how this person improved. Will Smith also believes in this. Oprah believes in this. Whereas this one was just you reading it, you just were I see the lesson already. I don't need to be told which celebrity this has helped. It's already helping me as I'm reading it. So I think it's fantastic. It goes through a little mini story of 4 characters who are stuck in a maze looking for cheese. Cheese is what they value in life. It's metaphorically what they value in life. You just kind of follow the characters along, and you learn a few of their stories. And it really, I was so shocked how much it applied to me once I started reading it. In the past year, I have moved to a different city. I've had a baby. I've closed down my product-based business. And I guess I didn't realize how that really affected me, and my thoughts behind it and my actions behind it, things that I have been feeling or things that I have said and did, until I read this book, life-changing. I'm gonna definitely have this as a reread. It's gonna be like on my little desk so I can flip through. I wrote out the quotes from this to post it on my little vision board and stuff. Really highly recommend. So those are the books that I read in this month. I read a total of 8 books. My goal for the month is 6, so we can tick that off. I had a list of 5 books also within that number 6 I wanted to hit that I wanted to read. Assassin's Blade, The Pelican Brief, The Miracle Morning, Who Moved My Cheese, and The God of Small Things. And I managed to read all of them except for The Pelican Brief. I'm about like 80% of the way on The Pelican Brief, but I'm not going to finish it in the month of June. It's a really, really great read and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So I do want to take my time to kind of finish it off. I don't want to rush it just so I could say I finished it in the month of June. It's a good read, but I'll give you guys the full review of it in July. I also bought a handful of books in the month of June. So here's like a quick haul of what I bought. The first is the hardcover edition of Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I loved reading this book. I thought it was a great read. The next book in this series, Reckless, comes out in like a couple of days, I believe, and I ordered the hardcover for that as well. I am so excited for that series. Initially, while I was reading it, I didn't enjoy like all of like the events. Like I don't enjoy like that Hunger Games style of like the games that happen. It's like the same complaint that I have with like Serpent and the Wings of the Night. I don't know why, I just don't enjoy that scenario. But I really love the characters, and initially when I read it, I think I gave it a 3 or 4 stars. I wasn't in love with it because I felt like it felt really similar to the Red Queen and Hunger Games. However, now that I've had some time to kind of think about it, I'm really excited for the next book. I'm so interested about what happens to the characters, Peyton and Kai. So I'm excited to support the author. I read this one on Kindle and I got the physical copy for my shelf as well. And this is basically a little novella that happens between Powerless and the second book, Reckless. It follows one of the other characters in Powerless. I haven't read this yet. It is on my reading list before I get access to Reckless, which is going to be very, very soon. So it's going to be on my one of the things that I want to read in the month of July. They are like a set, which just annoys me how this is like so much smaller. I wish they just like made it the same height. I have seen like hardbacks that are really thin, so I don't know why they didn't do it with this book. The next lot of books that I bought was Spark of the Everflame series by Penn Cole. I bought in hardcover the first 3 books of the series. The last one is supposed to come out in the month of July. She has delayed it once. I believe the author has delayed it once so far, I believe, so I'm hoping there's no more delays. I've already completely finished reading this series. And again, to support the author, got the hardcover versions. And also I just enjoyed the series so much. So it's something that I definitely want to keep on my shelf. Next, I bought 3 more books, and these are nonfiction books. They are more coffee table books, and I bought them to go just to decorate an area in my shelf. But moreover, that when I travel, I actually look for these particular things. These are some books on bookstores and libraries around the world. The first is called The World's Most Beautiful Libraries. The next is called Bookstores. And the last one I got is Temple of Books, Magnificent Libraries Around the World. These books are absolutely stunning. They are stunning on the inside. They are so much fun to just like flip through. And usually when I'm traveling, I love to visit like a local bookstore, local library and stuff. It's not a common thing that others like to visit, so there's not a lot of like touristy information. Like it's not on TripAdvisor or something that you can usually find unless it's like a really big deal, like the Shakespeare bookstore that's in Paris, like for example that one. However, in this I've been able to find like great bookstores that I haven't seen mentioned kind of anywhere else, that it's maybe just like for locals that know about it or something. Maybe sometimes it's like a university, like a library or something like that. But I visited so many of these cities and I did the research for like bookstores and libraries in the city, and none of these came up. So it is so cool. I'm definitely going to be kind of like flipping through it before I put these books away. And it's such a nice purchase. They have been on my wish list for the longest time, and just to treat myself a little this month, I picked them up and I'm so excited to dive more into them. And lastly, I picked up a few more books for my daughter this month. I want her to be a reader. I want to encourage that. And growing up, I didn't have access to a lot of books other than library books. I didn't really own that many books. We really couldn't afford to be spending money on books, but I loved going to the library. I loved checking out my books. I would spend hours and hours there. And where we live currently, you guys know I live in a small town in India. We don't have any libraries here that I could take my daughter to visit. I would absolutely love that, like the process of having your library bag, your little library card. So I'm constantly building us our small family library. I picked up a few books to add this month. I try to like buy new books for her every few months just to continue building the collection. These books are like, I know she will continue to read them for the next couple of years, and then also if we're lucky enough to have any more kids or like any more siblings for her, I know they will also really enjoy the books. So I never hesitate to kind of add more to the collection. Do you need this many books? Definitely not. Like 4 or 5 books and you would be good. I encourage you going to the library if you have access to a library. But I guess also in a way, like I heal a little bit of my inner child, because I remember like seeing friends have like stack of books and things like that. And it's just something that I always wanted as a kid, just to have my own little collection of books. And it's really nice to just be able to give that to my daughter. There's nothing wrong with library books at all, but sometimes just nice to have like little things that are your own, I guess. I don't know. Here is what I bought. First of all is this book called Press Here by Herve Tullett. This is a pretty famous book, but basically there's like this yellow dot and you press it and it just continues to expand. So far, out of all of the books that I bought her, this is definitely a favorite. She will pull it out for me to read to her and flip through the pages together. She loves pressing on the little dot. Definite add to your collection. The next book that I got was this one called Rabbit. As you flip through this book, you can kind of move little things in the rabbit. We obviously have a bunny, and just to kind of get her to like understand little things about the rabbit and things like that, got her this book. So far, she hasn't been loving it though. I feel like the movements in this are like a little bit too like small and she doesn't really get it. Next one we got was I Love You Little Pookie. I believe this is a little series, like it has like What's Wrong Little Pookie, Night Night Little Pookie. Very like well-known kind of book. We read it through once. She enjoyed it, but it wasn't like, she doesn't pick it out like for me to read. Next is Little Blue Truck. Entertaining, like great little book. We love to flip through and have a look at all of the animals. She loves having a look at the truck, and she can start to recognize animals now, so it's nice to like have these animals books. So it's nice to have these animal books where we can kind of go through and point to things, and she'll do like the animal noise. I'm gonna move through the next couple of books a little bit more quickly. They have Bear Snores On by Karma Wilson and Jane Chapman. The Wheels on the Bus, illustrated by Sylvie Conteros Fitz. And I believe this is this book about wheels on the bus. She loves the Wheels on the Bus, like the song. So I thought I would get her the OG book. I'm the Biggest Thing in the Ocean, and this is by Kevin Sherry. Next, we have Dada by Jimmy Fallon. She loves saying Dada and she loves cows. This was like a highly recommended book. Hooray for Fish by Lucy Cousins. We just got a little fish tank with fish, so she really enjoys this book. Good Night Gorilla by Peggy Rathman. And then I got her some books in Bangla as well. I can't read Bengali, but her nannies can, and so can my parents. So whenever they visit, they will read out loud to her. But these are paperbacks. They're not as like luxe feeling as those board books, but if she wants to have it in her collection, if the nannies ever get some time, they just read it to her while she's playing, just to get some exposure to the language that, you know, my family speaks. We have my husband's family, which they obviously live in India, and she hears Telugu quite often, but maybe Bengali not as much. And just to kind of like, these are the characters, these are our stories. Yeah, I have no idea what any of them say. I cannot read Bengali, like I know a few characters and stuff, but I left Bangladesh like when I was pretty young and didn't learn or retain what I had learned. So, all right, that is what we read, the ratings, and a little book haul for the month of July. I think I'm gonna put down that my goal is to read 6 books in this month again. It's a nice and fair goal to hit. I have a pretty busy month. We have like lots of big videos coming out on YouTube, and just spending so much time kind of like editing them and perfecting them. So I don't want to crowd my schedule too much with like extra books that I have to read, or also like rush through books just to hit a particular number goal. We're gonna do 6 books in July. Not gonna have anything particular that I want to read for this month. I actually did enjoy putting that like goal, like these are the books that I want to read for July. That was actually pretty good because I got to go through some of the books that I had been like sitting on for a while. But for July, I'm just gonna go like as a mood reader, just read kind of what I feel like. Next, cooking scones. We did do this. They were super delicious. Not as good, I would say, as like the buttermilk scones I have made before, but still pretty good. Lemonade is a tick. I don't know if like, because I changed the recipe a little bit and I made it with stevia, and I don't know if that hit the same spot as if you just use regular sugar, but it was still really good. And banana bread is a tick. Also, these 3 goals right here, like these cooking goals, they actually feed into a larger goal that I have, which is to cook 30 things from a selected recipe book. I love cooking, and I love like just like learning how to make my favorite food, so you can like see how like what goes into preparing that dish, and I find it a lot of fun. So next we have some travel goals, which is sunrise at Taipei 101. We did do this, however sunrise was not that great. It was really cloudy and overcast, but just nice to go up and see like Taipei really early in the morning. Kayaking in Vietnam, I actually did not do this. If you guys missed my last reset, I spent 2 weeks in Southeast Asia. It was a trip that I did with my sister. We went to Taiwan, Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia. I recorded travel vlogs for all of them, and they're gonna come out like next week or something. It's just taking me a while to sort out everything and put it together. There's like voiceover and all of this stuff, but it comes out next week. But to give you like a little spoiler, I was supposed to go kayaking at Halong Bay. I was really excited for it. I love kayaking. There's no like opportunities to kayak where I live, but it's like one of my favorite activities to do growing up. And we did it like not a lot, but we did it frequently while we like lived in Sydney. But I got really sick in Halong Bay. I had the worst food poisoning on this cruise, and I wasn't able to go kayaking. It was like a sunrise kayak, and really disappointed, but I was not able to do that. But we did do sunrise at Angkor Wat. Highlight of like the trip, and like also this year for sure, that this is such a bucket list item, like to go sunrise at Angkor Wat. Like so many people like want to do this, and I wanted to do this for such a long time, so I'm gonna give that a tick. Average of 10k steps. I really thought this would be so easy. I thought it would be so easy, guys, but it was not. I completely flopped and failed at this. I'll tell you guys how many steps I actually did end up taking for the month, and it was an average of 6,537. Definitely not close to that 10k goal, but last month I had like 5k average steps, and I would have hit it this month if I had that. But I really thought we'd be walking like a lot, and we usually do when we're traveling. And previous times in March when I went to Europe, and the previous time we went to Europe, we walked so much. I think my like average step count for that month was like 20k. However, I didn't account for the fact that Asia would be so hot, like this part of Asia would be so hot during this time of year, and we just often opted to catch a cab between places. There were, granted, it's like quite a distance between the places, and a lot of the places I would say was not like walking friendly. Like there was no footpath, or the footpath had like other stuff like people parked under and stuff, so it's harder to also walk. And I think some days like the humidity was like 100%, like it was crazy. So we just didn't end up doing this. So something that I'm going to keep note of next time as well. It just didn't happen. But the next goal, which is launching my mini vlog masterclass, I did launch it. You guys would have seen the vlog of the launch go up as well, and this was such a great launch, and I haven't launched something in such a long time, so it felt really great to be able to do that. And these last two, have a picnic, is done. I had a little picnic with my daughter. We also did a Father's Day picnic, but I did like a separate one also just for me and my daughter. The best Father's Day, my husband has agreed that he indeed, he's home right now, so you can also ask him, but my husband has agreed that he did have the very for best Father's Day. And if you guys remember me talking about it, and I had this idea of doing like this picnic and this sign and everything, 100%. I contacted like a business here. There are like 2 people, and they put together events, they decorate, and then do all of this stuff. I just told them this is what I want, and they executed it. I was in Asia, in Laos, I think, on Father's Day. Like, I was completely just like, is it done? Is it done? Like, out of it, but like not there to organize everything. But he did have an amazing Father's Day. So happy with my monthly goals. Next, we're gonna go over like the yearly goals that I've set. So along with each monthly goal, we have yearly goals. Let's go over that. Right now, you're joining me from my closet. I've had organizing my tech drawer, basically a drawer with all of my tech items in here, for the longest time, and I haven't got around to doing it. Basically, after every trip that I go on, because most trips I take some form of like content creation gear, basically after each trip that I go on, I just dump everything back in here, and it's gotten to a point where I'm having a hard time finding some stuff. Okay, let's organize and go through our travel goals. So first, visiting 20 new countries. I have not done this yet. I feel like I'll always start with that, but have not done that yet. But I did visit a total of 4 new countries this month. So I'm going to jot them down in my list. So I have like this main goal section here. By the way, this Google Sheet you can purchase. It's linked down below. I created this to like log all of my goals, and it has helped me so much this year. This is the first time maybe the second time I'm using something like this, and 10 out of 10, highly recommend that you like have a record of your goals like this. So I visited on this trip Taiwan, and then what did we visit? We visited Vietnam. It was my first time visiting Vietnam, even though it's so close to India. I realized from Kolkata it's only like a 2.5-hour flight. I obviously went from where I live right now to Delhi to Singapore to Taipei, and then we did Hanoi. But it's Hanoi and Kolkata only like a 2.5-hour flight. It is so close. And then we went to Laos. We learned that people in Laos spell it Lao, but internationally we spell it Laos, like or on maps or Google or something. So I'm gonna leave it as Lao. And even while we were there, and we would say, oh yes, it's our first time in Laos, they were like, oh, that's so lovely, how are you liking Lao? They would always reply back with like as Lao, and like they would never say like it's actually pronounced Lao, but they would always reply back with Lao, like, and make it a point to stress like, so are you liking Lao? Like always. And I felt like, oh, okay, they have obviously like we didn't realize, and we did a little bit of research and we're like, okay. And the last country we visited was Cambodia. So that makes my country count up to 11. At the end of this month, we were supposed to visit Bhutan. However, my husband's gotten super busy with work, so he is not able to do that trip anymore, so we have to can it. I'm so sad because I really wanted to do this hike. It's called Tiger's Nest. I really, really, really wanted to do the hike. We have to skip it. I'm going to try and do it maybe at the end of the year. My sister's planning a trip to India. Let's see if it happens. Not sure. And if she does end up coming, I'll try to convince her to go to Bhutan together so we can do that hike as a family. That'd be so much fun. I did have like lots more of these like little plastic containers also, but they have over time, like they have disappeared. So I think like I've just pulled them for other things, like other parts of the house and stuff that I need them. So, right. So the next goal that I had was to visit 1 new country in East Asia, which I've done. I've visited Taiwan, Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos. I've visited quite a few, so I'm really happy with that. That's a definite tick. When I made these goals at the beginning of the year, we didn't plan the Southeast Asia trip, but I knew that, I had these locations like Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, Taiwan that I hadn't visited in this part of the world, and it's somewhere that I definitely wanted to go. Initially, we thought we were going to go to Taiwan for baby's birthday. We ended up going to Japan, which I've already visited, but didn't know we were going to hit all these countries, but nice to see that, something we can take that one off. All right, so visit 4 new countries with Gigi. Gigi is the nickname for my daughter, and we are still at 3. So we visited Maldives, Japan, and Turkey. If you see me looking like this, I'm looking at my laptop on the ground. But yeah, so those are the countries we have visited with her so far, and by the end of the year, we will hopefully be able to kick off all of this, I would say. Snorkeling trip and session, or ballet and musical. I one of them. I don't know if it's going to be possible for me to do both of them. And this is something that I realized, I think I've spoken about this before, but when I was making these goals, I didn't properly think about like the logistics of the entire year, like how I was going to go ahead and achieve it all. I more just thought like, oh, these are some of the things that I want to do. And I didn't think about like, okay, ballet and musical, you know, where am I going to find that? And snorkeling and like a session, where am I going to find that? Because they're sometimes not possible together. Like the only place that maybe I could really snorkel and see a ballet together at the same time would maybe be somewhere like Australia, or maybe in Singapore, like in Bali. If I went to Bali, I could snorkel. Not great snorkeling, but you can snorkel. Or like say the Maldives, you can snorkel, but you can't go there and watch a ballet or a musical. Maybe they'll have like local performances or something, but there's no opportunity to watch a ballet or a musical. So I don't know when I'm gonna hit these goals, or which one of these. Right now, I don't think the snorkeling, you know what? It's still in the cards. The snorkeling trip and this ballet or musical still in the cards, because I'm thinking for my birthday when I go to Norway, I'm gonna try and hit up Vienna. So I can also do this goal over here, which is visit a European Christmas market. So I'll get to do like the ballet and musical. I think it's Swan Lake or something that's playing. I'm hoping Nutcracker, but I think it's Swan Lake. And then also I can visit the Christmas market. And then when I'm in Norway, I'll be able to see like the Northern Lights. So that's like good planning. Like you can group all of them together. But then the snorkeling trip, I might not be able to do. Right now, me and my sister were planning like a weekend. I have to go to Australia in November. I have one of my childhood friends, she's getting married. So I have to go to Australia in November. And right now with that, I'm thinking that I would be able to have a little side quest, like go to Fiji or Tahiti or something like that. And then that could be my snorkeling trip, but still kind of up in the air. And to be honest, I'm not really feeling like doing it if my sister doesn't want to like join in on that trip. All right, this is already looking a whole bunch better. I do have a bunch of audio cables, which I haven't been able to do anything with yet. We'll have to find where these plastic little containers are, because I need a couple more of them to organize the rest of the stuff. There we go. So these last 4 things we haven't done: snorkeling, ballet, musical, European Christmas market, Northern Lights haven't done. But like I said, these last 2 things, I think my strategy is to tick them all off on my birthday trip. And then this little one right over here might be the thing that misses out. 4 new countries with my daughter. I think we don't have any vacations planned with her in this half of the year, but I think for New Year's or something, we definitely will be visiting somewhere with her. Okay, so I'm gonna quickly finish doing this. I think I have another drawer above here. This top drawer, you guys would have seen how messy it is. I think it's going to have to happen on another day. I'm happy that I got this main part of the tech drawer kind of neat and tidy, but this top one I might do when I do my entire closet kind of cleanup as well. Happy with how most of that is looking. Still needs a little bit of work in my opinion, but we are going to get there. Let's go back into my office room. I'll show you guys the little updates that have been done in that room, and then we can go over my work goals as well. Back at my desk, because this next part I want to go over for my goals is going to be a little bit longer. We're going to change up some of our goals. Basically, the ideas that I had at the beginning of the year and the ideas and things that I want out of my work now are just very, very different. Okay. So one thing that I said to you guys is that I won't change my goals for nothing and no one unless something drastic has happened that has made it so that I can't achieve those goals. So for example, if my goal was to renovate this entire house and then it turned out we were moving out of this house and moving to New York, so then that would be like a goal that I really am not able to complete, and I would remove it from my list and replace it with something else. However, they just don't align with what I want to do, what I want to achieve. I feel like the way I approached my work at the beginning of the year, like in December of last year, and how I see my work now, the things that I want, my goals, my plans have changed so much. guys, what I have done is create a separate goal list for this. We're gonna go over here, and this is the goals that I have kind of created. So we have new goals for work, for career, okay? 100 long form videos on YouTube. From between the beginning of July and December 31st, I wanna push myself to post as many videos on YouTube as possible, get better at it. If I do that for 100 long form videos means about 4 videos per week. And one, I do think that's possible between myself, like shooting and editing. And every single video, I want to improve something, whether it's my intro, my audio, my color quality. I want to be a better storyteller on here, how I like put things together, how I tell my stories, how I tell my vlogs, all of it, right? How I shoot B-roll, the ideas that I have, my thumbnails, my descriptions, the like SEO strategy that I'm using, all of it I want to get better at. 100 long form videos from now until the end of the year. 5 digital products. This is just carrying on from I had this goal in the previous goals list as well. So far, I've done the goals planner, which is the beginning of the year. And then I have the mini vlog masterclass. And then I'm going to do 3 more until the end of the year. These are not going to be all paid. I think some of them will be like a freebie or something like that, but I'm going to keep that because I think that's a good goal to have. Closing transfer, basically, I put a little like clarify on that, is selling out all of our pending products. Next, I have hire a social media manager and assistant. I've been wanting to do this since the beginning of the year. I think I really need to do this to just help me out with a bunch of stuff, or else there's a lot of little things that get forgotten. And also just, I need someone that helps me with kind of organizing and managing my students for my courses as well. So I want to do this before the end of the year. Next, I have some fun ones. Setting up 3 automated email chains and sending out 26 emails by the end of the year, which is not part of the automation. So 26 emails, that's 1 per week. And I think this should be pretty kind of achievable. Emails are a great way to market, connect with your audience. And I think this is a much more like this goal right over here, like these emails will directly impact like my main goal, which is to increase revenue, sales, etc. Where it's just reaching 500K, like you can reach 1 million followers on Instagram, but doesn't mean that you made $1 million. And I think these 2 goals will help, my end goal, which is making sales and revenue, more so than hitting a certain subscriber or follower count. Next, we have set up CuriousChitra.com, the website. Again, something that I've wanted to do. I restructured my current website. It used to be CuriousChitra.com, but now it's called LearnWithChitra.com, and that's where all of my courses and like my digital products are based. But I want to do another one, CuriousChitra.com, where it's just like all encompassing, it's more lifestyle centered and all of that. These 2 things I've already done, so I've just carried them through. So we have a new studio, and then I've already monetized on YouTube, which is fantastic. That is how I kind of restructured stuff. And even though at the beginning of this year, I said not changing for nothing, for no one, I feel like my goals with my work have changed so drastically. And each month that I work towards like my goals, I realized I just need to be something different. So I want to be setting up my like email chains, figuring out my website. So I have like my own little space. I'm not just only on social media. And then I'm concentrating hugely on YouTube. I want to get better at my YouTube game. I don't want to just be like, okay guys, like turn on the camera, let's go record. I really want to think about like how I'm doing my intros, how I'm doing my thumbnails. And the only way I can concentrate on that fully is by like removing like pressure to create like short form content and other content. I'm definitely going to still post on Instagram. I'm going to be posting on Shorts, on Pinterest, all of that. But my main focus is going to be creating long form YouTube videos. All right, cool. We are in the kitchen to go over personal goals. And I thought while we do this, we will make my famous lemonade. Not so famous, but it's from the book Joy of Cooking. And I mean, I did enjoy it. So I'm just gonna try and find it again. I don't have lemons, and I didn't use lemons when I was making this. I know you're like, what are you talking about? But where we live, and in a lot of places in India, you don't get lemons. You get limes. So I'm making lemonade. Limeade? You know what I mean. Okay. It's quite delicious. I also have to leave the house in like 15 minutes. I will be back. to finish the video, but I have to leave in like 15 minutes to go to our tennis lesson, which is our perfect segue into talking about personal goals. I did like 75% stevia and then, or like monk fruit sweetener, and then the rest is like a light brown sugar. Okay, the first goal that we had in my personal goal was finish renovating and setting up the house. I would say that this is almost done. I just have a few things left to do in my office space, and then I just need to finish up some things in our closet, like just a few little areas. And then all I want to do in the bedroom is put up a few photo frames. Initially, I was planning on like doing an entire like repainting and all of this stuff, but I just need it to be done. I'm done working on it. I'm done like trying to fight about the things that we need to do and all of that stuff. So the last thing I want to do is just those 3 things, which I'm gonna put on my list to get done this month. It's gonna be one of my monthly goals. All of that done this month, and then we are done. I'm also traveling again from like September onwards, so I want to make sure that like all of the house stuff is done and I don't have to think about it. In July and August, they're like the only 2 months of the year other than Jan where I have absolutely no travel, domestic or international. So this month is the month we're getting everything done. Also, Invisalign, no kind of update on that. I do need to go to Hyderabad to get the Invisalign appointment and all of that, so it's just gonna have to wait until we're next in Hyderabad, which I think is gonna be around Diwali time, some like festival time. So hopefully we'll be able to do it then. I know I have to go like for like the Invisalign appointment, they'll have to scan my face and like then create the mold. So it's not gonna be like I go to the appointment and Invisalign is done. So I'm hoping that at least by the end of the day, I'll have like my first set of Invisalign that I've put on basically. So like by the end of the year, I have the set on, and I think it'll take like somewhere between 12 to 18 months to take them off again. So I am like wanting to start the process so I can also finish the process quickly. Next goal that I had is run 5K or complete the C2 5K program. Still a work in progress for this one. And I think right now I just started, I'm on day 3 of 75 hard. I have an entire daily vlog series coming out all about it. So I won't talk too much about it here, but I'm currently doing 75 hard, and I don't want to include running as one of my activities because it's just so stressful on the body, especially for me, like as a beginner runner. And with 75 hard challenge, you have to do 2 workouts in a day. And I don't want to have one of them be something so stressful and new and like strenuous on the joints and stuff like running. All of my workouts, I have like one workout, which is like a tougher workout or like cardio type of workout, and one that's a little bit more chill in the day. And I don't want to have something so stressful on my joints when I have to do it, like when I have to be working out every single day for 2 times a day. But I think around end of August or September, I will pick up running again, kind of towards the end of the 75 hard challenge. I'll pick up running again, and I feel more confident in like walking outside now. So hopefully once I get to know the area a little bit more, I can take my running outside because it was so boring to run indoors. The sugar has mostly dissolved, so I'm going to pour it out into this little pitcher. I didn't like over boil it or anything because I don't want it too hot. Just got the sugar to dissolve. It looks like this because of the brown sugar. And then I'm gonna just pour in this lemon juice, lime juice. Oh no, there's a seed. And then we're gonna put in cold water into that and then do a taste test and see what we need to balance. Next, we have lose a certain amount of weight. And I wanna say that if you don't wanna hear about it, skip forward a little bit to when I stop talking about it. I'm not mentioning any numbers, so it's not triggering at all, but if like weight loss and all of that kind of topic you don't like to listen to, just skip forward a little bit. So I would say last month I was 25% to my goal, and this month I have continued on with my progress. I want to say I'm about 35% there. Still going to be a working process. I have until the end of the year, taking it super slowly, but we're still moving with it. Next, work my way through a cookbook, doing 30 recipes. This month I did 3 recipes, and I think so far that is a total of 4 recipes that I've done. So I need to do another 26 more until the end of the year. That is 1 more per week until the end of the year. So I think I'm good with that. Let's do a taste test. Lemonade was one of the recipes. I think it needs to be watered down a little bit more. So if you do like half glass, and then I'll do like half glass of water. That's too watered down. This is why you follow a recipe, I guess. I think that's good. I think when I mix it with ice, it will taste a little better, but that is my my famous lemonade, guys. That's it. I'm gonna put it in the fridge so it can cool down a little bit more. I love the color of it. And my last goal for this personal is to find a common hobby with my husband, and we picked up tennis together. We tried yoga, and we actually do yoga frequently together, but like it's a little bit on and off. And he's much better at yoga than I am, so I don't always love doing it. But with tennis, we're all like, both of us are starting out like at the same place, and it doesn't really, well, at this point, depend on like who's fitter and more flexible, all of that. It's just like we're learning skills, so it's a lot more fun. And we have our tennis lesson together. This is going to be our second lesson together. Our first lesson was last month, and then in between we've done like separate lessons but never together because we couldn't find like a schedule that matches up. Back from tennis, and I forgot to heat the water for the shower, so we're gonna do that and do our usual our monthly skincare cleanup. Back over here I have all of my skincare that I use on like a weekly, daily basis. Some things I use more often, some things I use less often. Like for example, like my cleanser, usually use my cleanser every single day, or my sunscreen, I use it every single day. But then I have some like masks and peels that I don't use as often. I keep everything in like little plastic containers, and I like sort them out by like the type of product. So all the cleansers are in one, all moisturizers are in one, like body moisturizers and facial moisturizers are split up. What happens like over the course of a month is that like I will take something out, use it, and then I put it in the wrong place. So at the end of each month, just take a little bit of time and just reshuffle and just organize everything. And it usually lasts for like the month. It's not like a huge kind of thing that I have to do because I do it every month. It doesn't become this huge thing that I have to do. If I just left it and only did like once a year, then everything would be really messy and all of that. So it is one of our monthly things that we do, and I encourage you to do the same. Look through your skincare, see what you need to reorder, see what you're not really using and you won't be ordering in the future, and just shuffle everything so you don't forget about some stuff. Because sometimes, like for me, if something's in the back, I completely forget about it and don't end up using it. So apologize if like the lighting and the focus goes a little all over the place. I'll try my best to keep it stable. I'm using a new lens and I just like can't figure it out. So all right, let's do cleanses first. So this is already like super actually messy in here. Okay. Wow, this is actually really messy. I love this cleanser by First Aid Beauty. I got this from Nika, and I just got the smaller size because it works as a great morning cleanser and an evening cleanser, like really good to take off your makeup. But I also usually always double cleanse with an oil cleanser. So I will use something like this Tatcha Camellia Cleansing Oil, and I use this to like rub off all of my makeup, my sunscreen, wash this off with water, and then go ahead and then use a cleanser. So that is what double cleansing means. Really helpful if you have acne and like build up on your skin. And then I also loving this Murad AHA BHA exfoliating cleanser. Again, this is from Nika. And I, again, just got it in the smaller size because it works really well when I need to travel, and it's my first time trying that one, and so far really love it. All right, so in this first bucket over here, I put my cleansers, so just like regular cleansers, and then my oil cleansers. If I'm missing an oil cleanser, I will go through and I'll just do a double cleanse with a regular cleanser. Just everything's such a mess, actually. It's because I traveled and I think after my trip, I just like dumped everything. All right, so I also have this Claudeli Vino Clean. It's a foaming cleanser, again in a teeny tiny size because I was trying it out. But I like to use this like for mornings. I don't think it's like as good in the evenings. Just a personal opinion. I also have this Pharmacy Green Clean Cleansing Balm. This highly recommended. And this is also like a cleansing oil, but I just currently am going through this Tatcha one, so I'm not using the Pharmacy one as much. So cleansers all in the first one, and then in this one over here, I have all of my toners. Yeah, toners and essence. So after I cleanse, I put on like a toner on most of the days. I have quite a few ones that I cycle through. I'm also gonna put, I think this is a micellar water. Yeah, so I also have a micellar water here that I also put on this side. I like to use micellar water to wipe away any eye makeup. If I have like heavy eye makeup, then I'll do my oil cleanse first and then use like my micellar water to wipe away like extra eye makeup. And I find that's really helpful to prevent like any milia if you get that, like the little white bumps. I find that's really helpful for that. And okay, what else we got? Any more? I have quite a few little toners and stuff here. I just like try to mix it up depending on like what I'm feeling. So I have like the Kiehl's one, I have a Glow Recipe one, I have this Laneige cream skin, and I like to use that on like days where like, so like with my toners, I have some that I only use at night because they have like a AHA or BHA, they have one of those active ingredients, or I'll have something like this Laneige one, which is like a cream skin, which I love using during the winter time or when my skin is dry. And then I have like something like the SK2, which is like more of an everyday one. All right, okay, so I think it's a little messy here. I'm missing one of these little tubs because I sent my driver to go get another one because we just need a couple more in here. Okay, and then over here I have sunscreens and moisturizers that I use, and some of them are like body sunscreens, or some of them I exclusively use for my face. So I like to put like the smaller things at the front and then slightly bigger things at the back, so it's like easy for me to kind of see everything. Sunscreen, and then also like using things that I use more frequently kind of at the front, or sometimes even putting things that I need to use more frequently at the front. It looks a little bit better. And then up over here where my toothbrush is not supposed to be, this is where I like to put like peels, masks, and like things that I have like a active ingredients, like that are treating something on my skin. So for example, I have some niacinamide, I have some exfoliant, I have a Paula's Choice peel, I have lots of peels here, some more niacinamide, and again, just gonna do my best to like cycle these so I can move some things to the front. I do want to like split this up between like things that are like masks and then things that are like more gentle ingredients, and then things that are like I'm only applying like now and then. Some vitamin C. Yeah, I really do need to like clean up, like split this area up a little bit more, because very often I'm not using some of the things that are here. And up here, everything seems pretty okay. Just moving some of these other things down. So up here I have my, you can't really see it, but up over here, out of screen, I have like body moisturizers as well. And then there's supposed to be like 2 more little tubs here, but they're not here right now. But I have some extra like eye masks, and then we have some dental stuff as well. And then we also have like lip care here as well. And then what else do we have? We have some like extra shaving cream. So we have like eye patches, and then we have extra eye care things. And then I have like just a couple of lip things, deodorant, and then lip masks. This is supposed to go somewhere else. Already looking so much better. I have one more small little section, and it is these 2 here at the back. Over here, I put all of my hair care stuff. So I have like hair oils that I put, and then on this one over here, I have like some scents. So these include like linen sprays, and it includes some body sprays. Like usually these body sprays are really light, and I use them at night. So if I just want to like feel a little bit more bougie before going to sleep, I will put on the spray. But usually, and then there's like linen sprays and all of that kind of stuff. So here we go. All right, now everything already looks so much neater and so much better. Over on this side, I'll show you guys this. I have all of like my Dyson things that I've hung, got them both on Amazon, and it's like a great way to organize all of your little Dyson parts. And then like now my countertop space is like a lot neater. I'm gonna go ahead and actually figure out what's happened. Little boxes, I need a few more of them to organize the rest of my stuff. After, I'm gonna have my shower, and then we have a few more reset activities that we have to get done. So I'll see you guys then. We're gonna start with the tasks for the month of July. I've already written a few of them down over here. And then while we do this, I'm just gonna also make sure that I cross-check and I'm striving to hit those yearly goals as well, like working towards hitting them as well. So let's just open this up right over here. Perfect. Okay, so the new work goals I have is related to like the emails and all of that. So one of the goals I'm going to have is to set up 1 automated email chain for this month, and then also send out 4 emails for this month. If I do that, then I'll be well on my way to hit my 26 email goal for the year, plus my 3 automated email chain goal things as well. And then also posting on my small business page. My small business page is pretty much kind of dead right now, but I do need to make like the final post of like, hey, have the last few items, we're almost sold out, etc., just to push those last items that we have out the door. Next, I want to finish 3 things in the house to tick off our home reno, which is 1, finish setting up my office space. It's almost done. I just need to go and buy some like fake plants, and then I have 2 little drawer units coming in that I need to set up, and then I also want to just set up the bookshelf and just make it nice and aesthetic and pretty as much as I can. And I also want to finish, like I said, with the closet as much as I can, and just get those last few little shelves and things that I need to do done. And then the only thing I'm going to do in the bedroom, I have this idea of like having the entire bedroom like the sage color, and it's just not going to happen. It could it'll be something for next year or something like that. But I just want to get these like little frames put up above the bed. Like I want to do like gold, really ornate little photo frames up there. So that is what I'm going to do this month as well. And lastly, reading 6 books. This month, my goal was 6 books. Usually every single month it's like 4 books, but I'm pushing myself. So we did 6 books this month. I want to become like a faster reader and get through some more books and all of that. So that should be pretty easy for me to achieve. 4 books is easy for me. Even on hard months, I can do 4 books. 6 books is like slightly challenging, but it is like I've done it for a couple of months now, and it just takes a little bit more effort. Like you have to be really conscious about like speeding through the book sometimes, or just like really conscious about needing to pick up a book. Before, like with 4 books, I don't need to have that conscious effort. It's just like, even if I read really slowly, like I could easily go through the book. All right, we also want to add our recipes. So cook. I will need to cook. There's 26 more recipes that I need to do. Right over here, I should probably note down the recipes that I made. So I made lemonade, and then I made a scone, and then I made banana bread. I've done 4, but to get this to the sturdy recipe goal, I need to be doing 1 per week. So let's go ahead and we're going to pick out the recipes that we want to make. The book I'm picking my recipes from is The Joy of Cooking. And I think next year what I'm going to do, I'm going to have this cooking goal again because it's so much fun. However, I'm just going to do like make X many things from scratch, or like cook 1 new dish a week, something like that. Or like have like a bucket list of things that I want to learn how to make, or just have a bucket list of things to make, because I realized it's just a little uninspiring to, like, maybe I picked the wrong book. I think this book was a little uninspiring. Next year, I'm going to pick a different book. All right, we're going to do like some things that are like a little bit on the easier side, and then some things maybe slightly on the harder side. So let's just flick through. They have a really extensive recipe on like braised green beans. I'm going to skip through that part. Okay, this is going to be one of my recipes. Cauliflower with brown butter breadcrumbs. Cauliflower with brown butter breadcrumbs. That sounds delicious. It'd be a good way to also just eat some more veggies and stuff. I've wanted to. The reason why I highlighted or bookmarked these sites is just because to have like a nicer idea on how to prep veggies that are like not just salt and pepper and then sometimes garlic or something. I'm gonna do this creamy potato salad. I love a good potato salad and creamy potato salad. I love a good potato salad, and I don't know how to make one. I think it's a must. So I'm putting this on. So I'm going to do one, page 27. Okay, I'm going to give this a go. It's penne with vodka sauce. I've seen this so many times online and stuff. So I think I'm going to give that a go. Penne with vodka sauce. And then it is page 299. Okay, let's pick something like a little sweet maybe. We're not going to do something sweet. You know what we're going to do? English muffins. That sounds so delicious. Just to have them with a little bit of butter or some like jam. Yeah, it sounds really good. So we're going to do English muffins. Oh, should we do muffins or should we do something sweet? Because I feel like I have a lot of savory stuff. So it might be nice to do something sweet. Oh, they have a good chicken pot pie recipe here. I love a pot pie too. I'm not opposed to doing the chicken pot pie. The only thing that holds me back about the chicken pot pie is that we don't get ready-made puff pastry where we live. So I'd have to make the pastry myself. And I don't want to. It's like just a lot. But let's have a look at this chicken pot pie. I'm gonna try and find the recipe again. Can we count this as 2 recipes? Because I have to make not only this pastry dough, which they're recommending that you use buttermilk biscuit, a recipe, and then you have to make the pie as well. So can we count that as 2 recipes? Let's do chicken, hot pie, and this is on page 704. What I'm gonna do also is this month I did struggle with I was traveling, but I did struggle with cooking, not the cooking part, but just the planning when to do it. So this month I'm gonna have a look at my schedule and then have just one day of the week be my cooking day. That's the day I'm going to be cooking. It is I'm not going to be shooting a video that day or anything else that is going to be a cooking day. I'm going to let my husband know that I'm cooking something. So please don't schedule, make any plans or anything like that. I get really flustered, especially with something like this where I have to make the dough and stuff. I can get really flustered really easily. So I just want to make sure I'm in the right headspace when I'm cooking. And I think those are really good, top-notch kind of recipes on a separate day, maybe tomorrow or the day after. It's not July yet, but I'm gonna go over and have a look at all the recipes again, note down everything I need, because I live in a small town. Sometimes some things maybe yeast or something for bread is not available at the local store, and I have to order it online, or even some types of flour and stuff is not available. So I'm gonna try and do the research, get everything ordered in beforehand, or even if I need a cake tin or something, so I have everything ready for when I do the cooking, and I'm not running around like a little headless chook, basically. But that is my cooking goals. There you have it. And then anything else I kind of need to figure out. We did our second tennis class today as a couple, so happy with that. No, I have 100 long form videos, that goal, but I think I'm not gonna set a July goal for it. Maybe I actually will. So I need to do, basically to make that goal, I need to do 10 videos. No, I'm not gonna set that goal because I know that I need to do 4 videos per week. So in the month of July, I should ideally be doing 16 videos. However, because I'm daily posting for the 75 hard challenge, I'm posting just a few days less in July because we need a few extra days to post all the 75 hard content. So I'm not going to have a goal for that, but this is going to be my monthly goal. I'm not going to specify also which books I want to read because I did that this month, and I wanted to read some other books, and I felt I have to finish these first. So I didn't quite like that for that month. I did like having to getting to complete a bunch of stuff from my TBR pile that's been there for a long time, the Pelican Brief. I've had that on my TBR for maybe 10 years, so that was nice that I could complete it. But this month I just want to, there's a new Lauren Roberts book coming out called Reckless, and I want to maybe start up a new fantasy series. I'm not going to limit myself. Last little thing that we're going to do for today. Thank you so much for joining me on this monthly reset video. If you enjoyed the video, do give it a thumbs up, and I'm going to see you in my future videos. Keep a lookout for my travel vlogs, which are going to drop super soon. I'm also currently 1 week into 75 hard, and I'm daily vlogging every single day for it, so keep a lookout for that as well. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.